Furiosa is the latest Mad Max movie that some people are calling one of the best action movies and prequels ever created. Seems like some wild claims to me. I really enjoyed and loved some parts of this movie, but others were a huge downgrade from Mad Max Fury Road. So with that said, let's get into all my spoiler-free thoughts on the best, worst, and mid parts of this movie. Now, easily the best part of the entire movie is Anya Taylor-Joy's performance as Furiosa and Chris Hemsworth's performance as Dementis. They're our protagonist and villain in this film, and their dynamic together is absolutely incredible. We're following them across decades, and just seeing that relationship grow and evolve and the absolute hate that Furiosa grows for this man is incredible. Now, I will say this movie spends a lot of time with little kid Furiosa that isn't Anya Taylor-Joy playing her, obviously, and I feel like it spends a little bit too much time doing that. Because there's like an hour of this film that Anya Taylor-Joy is not even in. She's just so good as this character. I wish she got a little bit more screen time, like, and maybe just cut off 30 minutes of the little kid Furiosa and give us more grown-up Anya Taylor-Joy Furiosa. I would have been a lot happier with that. And her performance is really commendable because it's so hard to have such an amazing acting performance when you have barely any dialogue in the entire movie. Like, she is not talking for the majority of this film. It's all just facial expressions and physical acting, but she does so good at it. Like, I've never seen someone be so mad for the entirety of a movie before. It's amazing. Chris Hemsworth as the villain is literally playing like a cartoon character from the 60s, but it is absolutely incredible. He fits into this wild world of Mad Max so perfectly, and I just love seeing Chris Hemsworth getting to do something so different than his other roles that he's been doing lately. Like, George Miller has said that he would love to direct another Chris Hemsworth movie, and I'm super hopeful that they bring him on for the next Thor film, because that would be absolutely insane. And while I'm on the positives, the action is absolutely incredible in this movie, which I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by, because George Miller and Mad Max movies, you know it's going to be absolutely action-packed. But there are moments in this that I think are generally some of the best action scenes in the entire Mad Max saga, and better than Fury Road even, which is super high praise. Like, Anya Taylor-Joy's walking around with a sniper for like half this movie, and it is just so intense and amazing, those moments. The car chases are just getting bigger and bolder somehow than ever before. Now, something I'm very mixed on is the large scope of this movie, because as you can tell, this is 2.5 hours, which is longer than Fury Road by a lot. We're spanning across multiple years and decades, which is something very new for this franchise, and we're going to a ton of different locations over different periods of time, so it is absolutely large in scale, and I really admire George Miller trying to take all this into one film. At the end of the day, it is a saga, but in my opinion, it ends up making the film feel a little bit messier and not as tightly knit as other movies like Mad Max Fury Road. Part of that is the very beginning. Like I said, I think Chris Hemsworth is absolutely incredible in that first hour when we're dealing with little kid Furiosa, but it's just way too long in my opinion. And even once we get into the meat of things and things really start getting interesting, the action's ramping up to 100, then we just go on this little detour. And listen, I'm someone that absolutely loves world building and slower moments in movies, but I'm not gonna lie, I did not love it in this movie. I just don't know if it's not done well in this film, or maybe that's just not what I was expecting from a Mad Max movie, but it really slows the movie down in a lot of places. But the thing is, it's not really expanding the world that much either, or really adding more depth to the characters in a lot of scenes. I feel like it's just scenes that are kind of running on a bit too long and kind of stall out and run out of steam. And the story just kind of feels like a rough draft, like this jumping around over so many decades. We have one kind of overarching theme in this entire movie that is Furiosa and her one mission that she's set on, but there's no real straight endpoint to the goal, so we're just kind of going on these random different missions, going here, meeting this person, and it kind of just feels a little messy in my opinion. Perhaps the biggest disappointment of this entire movie to me is the visuals, because Mad Max Fury Road is one of the best looking movies of the last decade. I absolutely love the entire style and aesthetic, all the color grading. It just looks so unique and it's its own thing. And this movie looks way more dull. There's none of that unique color grading. The wasteland has lost a lot of the atmosphere it had in Mad Max Fury Road. Like, a lot of the shots are something I expect to see in like an Apple TV or Netflix original, just that kind of dull, lifeless, no unique coloring going on at all. Like, but it's not just the color grading. I feel like a lot of the green screens are super noticeable in this movie, and there's some scenes that just look so obviously fake that it was kind of taking me out of it for a moment. Now, it's not like it makes it unwatchable or anything, but just compared to how amazing Mad Max Fury Road looked, this one looking worse somehow is really surprising and disappointing to me, and I think it kind of ties into how large the scope of this movie is. Like I said, it's a bigger and longer movie than Fury Road, so I feel like the budget kind of got spread thin in a lot of moments that they don't look as good. Maybe I just went in with insane expectations because of how much I love Fury Road, but it just did not land as a perfect movie to me. But overall, it is still very solid, and it is a very enjoyable, action-packed time at the movies. I still give it an 8 out of 10, even with all those negatives I listed. If you've seen it so far, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below.